got Bradley, Brunson, and Banks, I believe. No, Banks is here. No, who's that? Yeah, Banks. Wait till I see your helicopter. Oh no. Banks will not be coming in. All right. You won't be able to fly in either. All right. And what about Hawk? Charlie 666, you flying in or what? Speak now, forever hold your pie.
Crawford, how the fuck did you sell that chair?
All right, you're not able to fly in. All right, all right. So we'll get shit started. Once again, I'd like to appreciate everybody for flying in. If you can't hear me, please turn me up. If you can, there you go. We're gonna do a little recap of the last meeting, real quick. Let me pull that up here. Now it's me over here, not being prepared. Prepared for every fucking thing else, but just not that. All right, so last meeting we went over respecting scenes and scenarios, searches and seizures, seizing illegal items, body and dash cams, when and how often to tase, tackle, or cuff, when to pit, pursuit mode, impound, or when to impound or depot vehicles, the prioritization during scenes, clocking in and out, and time corrections, getting clips and pics. Uh, we went over the subdivisions and certifications, and we discussed about the convoy. Um, let's see. Hold on. Meeting. Go back to the meeting. All right. So, pretty much in a nutshell, I'm going to go through this quickly for those who should have but already haven't gone through the meeting notes of the last video. So, for the first thing, respecting scenes, realize this is meeting is a little OC as well as I see. So, this is not a job. We are in a video game playing as cops. So if a suspect gets away, it don't matter. You're not going to get penalized for it. Build an investigation against them for a future scene. It's self-explanatory. Just prioritize your RP over everything and keep your quality of RP on top. I know there has been some times where, regarding some incidences that we've been shot at, just, out of the blue, and that'll also be discussed later on in the meeting on how to handle them situations. But like I said in city chat, you know, prioritize your own role play, and don't be discouraged by some of the shitlords that the city will have from time to time. There are a lot of people that come from cities where cops are just W hungry and they like uh getting a win every time, and they'll go gung ho, and the only way out is to kill every cop in sight. So once people get the feel for our department, they will know, okay, listen, these cops aren't like that. Let's try a different approach. And once, for the most part, most of the people in the city have that generalization about us. So we're going to get more role play scenes rather than, shooting, chasing, all that shit. So keep that in mind. With searchers and seizures and probable cause, you can't just pull up to a scene where there were shots fired, and you walk up to someone and go, okay, you're under arrest for shooting a gun off. No, that's not how it works. You have to witness them, shooting a gun, witness them selling drugs, witness them with your own eyes performing an illegal activity before you can actually make an arrest. You can go up, question them. Let's say, you're responding to a shots fired call over at Legion Square. You see a group of people hanging out. You can walk up to them, say, hey, listen, I'm responding to shots fired. Would y'all mind? I'm just gonna GSR test you real quick. Just get in line, and we're gonna clear all y'all names and blah blah blah. And if someone wants to be uncooperative, then that's up to them. But you cannot just make an arrest based on an assumption or just like in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, hearsay, their favorite word. So make sure when you are making an arrest, there's concrete evidence backing up the arrest. In regards to legal items, I want to go through this for some of the newer members. The only items we should be seizing are as follows: actual drugs, not the drug ingredients, just the actual drugs, packaged or not, depending on the situation. We're having a updated penal code. So in that updated penal code, there will be amounts of how much of each drug can be on a person. Mostly, it would have to do with marijuana. I'm having it where anything up to 28 grams, which would be 28 individual joints, 28 edibles, anything like that, can be on a person legally. Anything after that, there will be charges implied. And depending on the volume that they have, would be how much the charge goes up to. So, the actual drugs we should be seizing, marked bills or dirty money bills, all that shit. Unregistered or illegal weapons, silencers or silenced weapons, explosives, thermite, all that. Uh, we only should be seizing ammunition off a suspect if that person does not have a weapons license. If they have a weapons license and they're not being charged with a crime involving a firearm, then you don't need to take their ammunition. What if they have handcuffs? Do we take those off them? I mean, people have their kinks. You can leave them with the handcuffs on them. I would take them off them up until the time that they, go to jail, like the melee weapons. You take the melee weapon so they don't use it in the cells or they don't try to cuff you while they're in jail or in the holding cells, and then give all that back when they're being sent off to jail. Stay away from my pink fluffy one. Okay, James, calm down now. What else? Explosives, ammunition, large amounts of jewelry or stolen city property. Um, yeah. So the large amounts of jewelry, obviously, use your own recollection and bear in mind what jewelry can be taken from a house and what jewelry can be crafted at mining. So keep that in mind. I'm not 100% sure if the jewelry store will give the same jewelry as a house robbery, but I mean, by all means, if someone's stupid enough to go mining for a bunch of jewelry and then go rob a jewelry store, obviously we're going to take all the jewelry off them if we catch them. So, smarten up, criminal. What else? Stuff we should not be taking. Obviously, you know, items they give diamond rings in both scenarios. All right, cool, cool. Yeah, but I mean, if we catch someone coming out of a house robbery or a who left? Somebody left. Oh, okay. If we catch somebody coming out of a house robbery or a jewelry store and they got all kinds of jewelry on them, you know what I mean? Then and they got that from mining, that's too bad, so sad. But if you just pull someone over and they got all kinds of jewelry on them, if they're not coming from a robbery, just assume it's from mining. Um, so items in people's pockets that, due to the label in your inventory, knowing it's illegal, like hacking devices, all that, those should not be seized because essentially you can't read a the label on an item above the item in somebody's pockets. Technically, that would be metagame information if we start seizing all that shit. Unless, otherwise told. So if someone sits there and goes, yeah, he has this thing, looks like a Game Boy in his pocket, and, it's a hacking device and blah, 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 then we can take that specific scene and take that specific item if they get stitched out. But other than that, people walking around with Game Boys, people walking around with, different odds and ends of tech devices, and, let them have it. Drills are not illegal, Dixon. Um, I don't know what kind of illegal drill you've been seeing IRL, but drills are not illegal. Um, what else? Yeah, so the items in key are included but not limited to hacking devices, VPNs, warehouse lockpicks and keys, regular or advanced lockpicks, laptops, um, radio scanners, and things of that nature. She doesn't get out much. I mean, Dixon was trying to come up and stop mining. Oh my god. um, so like some of these items are difficult for the criminals to come across, and this could cause them unnecessary downtime between criminal interactions. So the more we leave those on them, the more scenes they will provide for us, in a sense. And this practice will help us get more action, as well as promote the relationship between the criminals and the PD. In regards to body and dash cam, straightforward. If you're looking at it, if your camera is facing it on your person, it will record it. If your car, the front or the back, is facing the scene, it will record it. Anything other than that, if someone comes up behind you and your car's nowhere around and they, stab you in the back or whatever, you're not going to know that's going to happen. So any people can't just sit there and slash me breaks body cam and now think we're not going to start an investigation on them. Anything that came up to that point where they broke the camera, anything before that will be recorded and we will have for our investigation further on. Anything after that we cannot use. So keep that in mind. I don't know why some of these I've dealt with some criminals before where they're breaking body cameras and they're sitting there thinking, oh, well, these cops can't do nothing after that. They're sitting there body dumping us. Myself and Officer Crawford knows about the body dumping that happened the other day. And it's like, well, body dumping isn't going to get you far when all the footage from the dash camera just has been recorded, everything. So it don't make no sense. But one guy was like, "What? I didn't do that." It's like, yeah, you did. We caught you on camera. We got footage of it. Come on now. Got to pay for all them repairs and hospital bills somehow. Exactly. So that's pretty straightforward. If your camera's facing it, we have the footage. We can remember all that happened at that time. Um, Still, some of our officers have not been, well, one of them in particular that I do not see here, but has not been obliging by the 10-second rule when it comes to tasing or tackling, um, or a successful cuff. But all tasing, tackling, and cuffing must be called out at least a second or two before the action is being performed. Upon a successful tase or tackle, we must wait a minimum of 10 seconds before the next taser tackle. You can cuff immediately after you tase, call for tase them, walk up to them, call for cuffs and cuff them. But you cannot after they've been after you tried the cuff, even if they slip the cuffs, you have to wait another 10 seconds before you can try to tase them again. Or if you tase them and they're too far to get to cuff, then you still got to wait another 10 seconds before you tase them again or tackle them. I don't want to see my officers sitting there tackling the same person over and over and over again just to keep them on the ground. And like, in a sense, we don't lose anything if we lose a scene. A criminal loses everything. Keep that in mind. That's why I don't care if they get away. I don't care if we get shot. It don't matter. I don't want to say we give the criminals handicaps, but we gotta, how can I put this? We are an overpowered force to be reckoned with. And if we treat it as such and we don't give a little leeway, we will be winning 100% of the time. So the reason why some of these procedures are in place is to even up the balance between the criminals and the police officers. So I hope y'all understand why these procedures are in place. If not, we could literally just show up 10 deep to every situation that is only allowed 4 criminals or whatnot, and that's it. We just take everything and bye-bye, too bad, so sad. So, like I said, these are why the procedures are in place. That should be pretty straightforward. One thing, I'll skip the when to pit because that's going to be gone over here in this meeting's situation. The pursuit mode, if anyone doesn't know, or some of the cadets, the pursuit mode, you flex your end muscle and it activates your pursuit mode. And it puts on various upgrades on your car that will increase the performance of the vehicle. The ranking of the pursuit mode is not correctly labeled because every vehicle has different speeds according to their modifications. So you will, as an officer, will do your best to judge the speed of your vehicle to correctly match the pursuit mode to align your speed with their speed. The pursuit mode is under no circumstances to be used to catch up to a vehicle. Once you match the speed, keep it at that pursuit mode. And if they get away, they get away. If not, there'd be no up in the pursuit mode just to catch up. Any questions? No? All right. This is something that I came up the last meeting on when to impound or when to depot a vehicle. And it was agreed upon by all the officers involved in the last meeting that impound should only be used, and /impound, if those who don't know or unsure, sends the car to the police impound lot where we would have to physically give the car back. But that /impound should only be used at scenes where suspect has ditched the vehicle and has not been caught. And then the vehicle will now be used to incriminate the suspect when he comes to pick up his car. Only exception to this is if they have called in the car stolen either a little bit before or a little bit after. If they just come in walking in the next day or a couple days later saying, hey, can I pick up my car? My car was stolen. It's like, well, you don't just have your car stolen and don't see it for 3 days and go, hey, I wonder if my car was stolen. You know what I mean? So immediately before, immediately after the incident, if they call it stolen, then sure, you can give it to them. If not, they will be arrested following the report that they got away. They will be charged with those crimes in said report. And once they come back from going to jail, then you can release the car to them. The /depot, exact opposite of the first one. If you catch them and they're going to jail, go ahead, /depot the vehicle. Then they can go get it at the local impound lot, and we don't have to deal with that. Depending on the situation, vehicles can be depoted for up to $5,000, depending on the quality of RP in that scene. You know, if it was a good scene, obviously you just impound it for $0. If it's a bad scene, you depot it for $5,000, right? Um, and if you're releasing a vehicle that we have impounded, the officer that is releasing the vehicle can be paid up to $5,000 for the release of the vehicle. That doesn't mean go ahead and sit there and milk everybody for $5,000 every time you release a vehicle, but that can be paid to you if you release the vehicle. But also check to see what the vehicle has. Make sure before we are releasing vehicles that we do a thorough background check on the person and the vehicle through the plate number, through the MDT, to see if the vehicle has any notes on it or the person has any notes on the profile, to see if we should be releasing that vehicle. Because one of our officers had released a vehicle. Yeah, exactly, Cruz. So bad RP, as in they're being a complete ass, you know, not just, oh, they're calling you fucking pig and this and that. No, if they're being an ass, they won't cooperate. You know, they're not answering absolutely any questions, even though some of them are RP related. Are we searching the cars before impounding them? That is correct. We are absolutely searching cars before we are impounding them or depoting them. But yeah, make sure we had an officer release a vehicle to a suspect, and that vehicle had notes on the vehicle, or I believe it was in a report that the vehicle should have been held uh, pending investigation. So, like I said, we're going to need to develop a system to where everybody's easily accessing this information on whether a vehicle needs to be held or not. Again, for the rookies, the prioritization during scenes, you know, use your best judgment. The safety of your fellow officers should be top priority. If your officers go down, you know, try to cover them and try to get them, worry about them. If the suspects run, let them run, get your officer to the hospital. Don't go get back in your car chasing an officer and or chasing the suspects and leave your officer bleeding out on the ground. Tend to your fellow officers before all else. And once all threats are neutralized, then, you know, and all the officers are safe, then yeah, you're good to apprehend the suspects. Let's see what's going on. Not like have a section in the Discord for depots. You mean impounds? 5 pillars is key, thanks. I'll burn that into your brain. James, no, we'll probably have either a section in the Discord I was thinking about. So if there is a car that has been impounded, you know, we search that. But I think it would make more sense is if we searched up the vehicle license plate in the MDT or search up the owner of the vehicle. There's a note section under everybody's profile that we can put notes in. So before releasing the vehicle to a person, search up the profile and see that you know, they're good to go for that vehicle. Or if there's anything that is saying hold the vehicle. If there's nothing on the profile, obviously go ahead and return the vehicle. But also go through, you know, the recent reports to see if that vehicle was used in any situation. Just to be on the safe side. So yeah, the prioritization during scenes, the clock in and out and time corrections. I will summarize this really quickly. Obviously, slash clock in to clock in, slash clock out to clock out. You don't need to put a mask as it adds because your mask is linked to your Discord role as lspd. It will automatically clock you into that. Or in Banks's case, BCSO. in regards to correcting your time, under no circumstances should you be correcting your own time. The /add command will enable everybody to have the ability to correct their own time, but anybody caught correcting their own time outside of high command will be receiving a strike. If you need your time corrected, obviously you guys even see me, I forgot to clock out a couple times this past week. Put it in time card correction. Let us know how much time you need taken off or added if you forgot to clock in or forgot to clock out, and we will adjust your time. The getting clips and pics, obviously, to promote the LSPD, we can get clips and pictures for our own sales to remember about, in case a memory of a good scene or a good time on the job. And we can post them either in here or in RP Media or RP Appreciation. Anything you want to big up to other people in the city or other officers, by all means. It's very good for the moral of the department as well as the city. And it's just fun getting a 360 no scope on somebody and clipping the shit out of it. Takes photo of haircut. Exactly, James. For the tickety talk, exactly. I gotta go. Something come up. All right, I appreciate you coming out, man. In regards to the subdivision certifications, so the subdivisions or the certs have officially rolled out. We got heat now able to be applied for by all the officers rank and higher, as well as AOU. And CID will be coming soon. Just waiting on Assistant Chief Miller to finish up the SOP for that. The bike unit, the SOP is finished, but we are waiting for the tweaks on the bike because right now the bike, as Zach likes to, or Slater likes to put it, goes slower than molasses going uphill. So, but the bike unit will be rolling out pretty soon. And yeah, obviously SWAT, we're looking for somebody to run our SWAT division that is very knowledgeable about the practices of SWAT. I have a couple officers in mind that I've seen that has quite a bit of experience with it. That when the time comes with their dedication to the force, we can have them manage our SWAT division and run command on SWAT. And if anybody here is interested in SWAT, by all means, send me a message or put it up, or whoever has, quite a bit of knowledge in SWAT, let me know if you're interested in running it and we can talk about that. Send me a DM and we'll talk about that. The convoy, I'll let you read that on your own. It's a big thing. We're probably going to get that going soon. We have quite a bit of evidence that we can transfer around and let back out into the city. Obviously, convoys are just for fun, get people involved, but it also gives us a chance to work on our, tactical skills and working as a team. Because if everyone's not on point during the convoy, that's when stuff gets a little hairy. So y'all can read that. And driving skill. I mean, don't worry, Cruz. We won't make you drive a truck. So that is everything in a nutshell from last meeting. Hopefully, I summarized that as fast as I can. And oh, you meant Juno? I mean, you can't talk about somebody else's driving skills when your driving skills suck as well. So, what weekend y'all thinking? I can't wait for convoy. I would say at least a week and a half to 2 weeks after we make an announcement. To the main No Life Discord, we will make the announcement, and then so everybody has a good idea on when the convoy will be ready to go, and then we can start preparing for that convoy, run a few practice drills. But I want as many officers as we can for that convoy. We will have, sniper support in Air 1 as well as 3 units in each van. Hopefully we can get as many officers as possible. Can y'all just hold up 1 second? I do apologize for the delay. Just hold up here. I will be back in a couple minutes. I do apologize. Good. So this week's meeting, we're going over the time strikes and how to have them removed, respecting bubbles again in chases, uh, pit timers, correct use of force per situation, responding to calls, discussing questions and concerns that all y'all may have, a future sting that we'll be going through that I will need some officers to volunteer to pursue, and we'll be going over some promotions in the end. So, time strikes. We have had a few of our officers have time strikes issued to them. I don't believe anybody here has a time strike. Oh, that's correction, Mr. Thomas. Um, Obviously, you receive a time strike if you do not meet the 5 hour quota for a week. Plain and simple. To have a time strike removed. So let's say you have 2 time strikes. You can have them removed one by one for providing a solid month of activity. If you miss a week, you will get another time strike, and that month will no longer be valid. If you, like I said, if you come in, get your 5 hours every week for 4 weeks, you will lose a time strike if you have one. Pretty straightforward. Uh, in regards to, if you got any questions, by all means, please save your questions for our discussion part, and I'll bring people up on stage to ask the questions. In regards to respecting the bubbles in chases, proper spacing and communicating on whether you're going to be passing another officer in a pursuit. So obviously, we all know FiveM is not perfect, and the quote unquote headaches, as a saying we like to use, are very real and could absolutely make or break a chase. Keep that in mind when you're chasing a suspect. Keep proper distance from the vehicle being pursued as well as your fellow officers, because you never know when there's going to be a headache, and the next thing you know, they're behind you because you followed too close, and now both your cars are disabled because of all that shit. So by all means, and I don't want other people to think we're purposely ramming them when we're not, because a headache happened and now we're right in their fucking bumper. And this can all be avoided by just having good spacing. And in regards to passing your other officers, let's say someone gets a wreck, or your vehicle is better equipped to handle that certain terrain. So let's say we're in the city, we're doing everything, and then we start going off road. If there's a vehicle that's better equipped to handle off road pursuits, that vehicle can now, if permission is granted by the primary vehicle, can pass. And if you do pass, have good communication saying, hey, I'm passing on the, left, or passing on the right. So they know, you know, they don't swerve into you when you're trying to pass. So keep that in mind. We need to have proper spacing and better communication when passing other police in pursuits. And obviously, like I said, respecting those bubbles. Because at the end of the day, if they get away because you stayed a little far back so you wouldn't accidentally, ram them, they get away. Big deal. But it's worse when, if we're sitting there catching them, and I know there have been a few people that have gotten caught because we were following too close and we rammed their vehicles, and within the first 5 minutes of the chase, their engine is now red, the car's breaking down, and we didn't even, we had no intention to pit them, but because we had improper spacing. People need to take charge when about to start a chase, communication with who is taking primary, and etc. Exactly. So whoever's primary on the scene, so let's say you pull up to a bank robbery, obviously before they leave, the primary officer on scene will be assigning, tasks. So if they want to take primary, or if, let's say they want to stay back, they'll, assess the hostages, clear the bank, whatever. So they'll be like, all right, listen, myself, I'll stay back. Crawford, your primary. James, you can be secondary. Bishop, your tertiary. Everybody else, follow their lead. And y'all, obviously, secondary does the call outs. Primary work focuses on chasing. Everybody focuses on proper spacing. Breaks are important, people. In regards to pit timers, when it comes to a boost, unless the primary car is pitting y'all, there will be no pitting until the tracker is disabled. This was discussed in our last meeting. When it comes to banks and all that, if our vehicles are very easily keeping up with the pursuing vehicle being pursued, I like that better, then by all means, there's no need for a pit, up to the discretion of the primary officer. Um, if it's the car is extremely fast, we're having difficulties keeping up. Again, with the discretion of the primary officer, there would be a pit timer started around 10 minutes before we can start initializing pits. Somebody, either, secondary or tertiary, primary needs to communicate with them to start a pit timer. Once the pit timer has been ran through, communicate that to the primary officer, and then we will start being able to pit. I don't want to see, again, with the spacing, I don't want to see our cars ramming into other cars, with the exception of interference vehicles. If there are interference vehicles starting to pit y'all, by all means, pit the shit out of them. And if they are ramming your vehicles, like 100 miles an hour into the side of your vehicle, by all means, smoke that vehicle. We can't just sit there and let the criminals push us around like that. And with, we turned it on easy mode for a first little while because I wanted the criminals to start getting involved in things and starting to learn how to do things. But now that some people are taking advantage of us, we got to turn up the heat just a little bit. I don't want to see people gassing up their vehicles at a gas station mid-chase. No, that's not going to happen. We're going to tase the shit out of them, and we're going to fucking take them off to jail. This ain't easy mode. We can talk about the lenience as well. We can't be letting these criminals get gas. Exactly. Like myself and Crawford were following a boost the other day, and with the gas cans, if you get a fresh gas can from a gas station, and you take that to a boost car, they can fill up the boost car with the gas can, as long as they don't put it away or do another action. So we don't need to see these people, and if that's too much for them to do, then they can make out what they can on the vehicle's current gas. And if that's too much for them, then sorry, that's too bad. But we can't be letting, we got to turn the heat up just a little bit. Right now it's on a 3, we got to turn it up to a 5. Just to let the people know, like, we're not pushovers. We're all police officers at the end of the day. And, you are going to jail for assaulting an officer, Natalia. In regards to the correct use of force per situation. So, like I mentioned in one of my announcements before, there was a suspect that was gunned down at a scene where he approached the scene with a melee weapon. Natalia bruised his ribs, right? Yes, we are talking about Natalia for like half a second, but we're off that now. Jesus. But yeah, we have nightsticks, we have tasers, we have the ability to tackle for a reason, as I mentioned in my announcement. I don't want to hear that I have officers sitting there, shooting people in the back when they weren't getting shot at. First off, we're never supposed to shoot first, and we shouldn't be shooting people in the back. That is against the law. Obviously, if they're shooting at us, then go ahead, open fire. But keep in mind the correct, even use of force during a situation. And by all means, if someone is trying to provide RP and content, roll with the content. I don't want to hear that there are, again, going with the code of ethics. You know, y'all agreed to the code of ethics. And if I have to, I will get every one of y'all in a one-on-one call, and y'all can, or by all means, I'll get every one of y'all in city and read out the code of ethics like a pledge of allegiance. So, dodge next time. Rip Crawford. Um, but yeah, we need to roll with the role play. That's why it's called role play. You know, I have heard that there was a couple officers pulled up to a scene, and these guys weren't doing the hostage, robbing a bank, this and that. They were doing, they were trying to actually implement a scene. And I had officers sitting there trying to shut it down, saying this is impossible, this is that, this is that. It's like, find ways to make it possible. Find, ask the right questions. Don't sit there and ask questions that are impossible to answer. If you ask for identification, if they go /E space ID card or whatever, oh, okay, that looks legit, blah, blah, blah. If you ask for paperwork, they pull out a clipboard. Okay, I like that, Roll with the role play. If not, we're going to be getting chases and fucking shootouts every single time, and that's boring as shit, at least to me. I don't know about y'all, but here and there, go ahead, chase. But I'm in the role play scene for the role play. Um, in regards to responding to calls, so I heard about a bank truck robbery that was, happening, and as I believe it was Woods started to pursue the vehicle that was trying to get away from the bank truck after our officer showed up, we had a couple other officers just drive off and not assist uh, Deputy Chief Woods with that pursuit. By all means, if you are being assisted or if you are responding to a call, you are to see that call through. Just because you don't think that you are going to catch them or whatever it may be does not give you the authorization to just fuck off. If you pull up to a call and if you are in chase of a suspect, chase them until there is no eyes for at least 5 minutes. Because we could always see them slipping, pulling up around a corner, doing whatever. I don't want to see people backing off calls just because, they gave up on the call. Because then we're really going easy peasy cotton candy mode. And like, you might as well just not show up at all to the scene if that's the case. Unless the higher up says pull off from chase or no need for assistance, you need to stay and help. Exactly. But I mean, I don't see why, unless the higher up needs backup, I don't see why they would say to pull off from a chase. If you're chasing a suspect, chase the suspect. Unless you're required for backup at somewhere else, and that chase is being now not priority, by all means, take the chase somewhere else. So that is the generalization of the responding to calls. And so now we'll discuss any questions or concerns y'all have about any of our practices, anything that's going on in the city, anything that you are concerned about. in regards to this department, by all means, raise your hand and I will pull y'all up one by one and we can talk about some shit. So we got first up, James. Come up here, speak your piece. Unmute yourself. What's going on, James?
How you doing? Just a quick thing I'd like to bring up about obviously I've been quite new in the police force. I
Right.
think obviously not naming people, I don't think that's fair, but I think higher ups need to start saying a bit more of an example to the likes of the newer officers and the likes of cadets, because I think it's very whenever you're self-entering Ryan, it's very lazy and lackadaisical. I think like for example, we're turning up to like a bank or something, and there's no call outs to let the people know that we're coming to the bank, and we're getting in a chase, and there's no call outs, there's no communication. It's just I think from the higher ups point of view, you need to start setting an example so the cadets and stuff can actually learn properly and not get them into bad habits.
Oh, 100%. That's another thing I appreciate you reminding me about that. We need to start getting into the habit of, once you've been on the force for so long, start realizing that you need to have proper communication. At first, you get a blah with it once you're new, but once you start hearing more and more over the radio, how we go about things, announce that you're going to a scene, announce that you're 1023 on a scene, that you have arrived, announce that you're going on chase. Secondary should be doing call outs. If you are, confused with the call outs, ask for someone to take over call outs for you. We need that communication 100%. It is necessary for the procedures that we need to do, and everybody should be doing it. Again, this is not a real job. We are players in a video game. But at the same time, we need to have organization and we need to have, good communication for us to all do our job and have the enjoyment as a role play officer. So I appreciate that, James. Thank you very much. Is there
Oh,
anything else?
no, all good, all good.
I appreciate you. Let's see, what do we got in the peanut gallery? I wonder if there was incentives for getting a certain amount of arrests or something. It would get people a little serious. I could be wrong. I mean, like I said, I'm not here for the quantity of arrests. If your RP is good, that's what counts. I don't need people sitting there going, "Oh, well, I got 100 arrests. Boss is going to give me 10K, 100K bonus." Don't need that. I don't want to speak on Mike. What do we do if someone's profile is bugged because there is a few people in cities with profiles you cannot look at? I'm working on getting that fixed. So I'm not sure exactly why it's happening. I think we have a report that has all these individuals in it that's bugging up the profiles. But that'll all be fixed when we have the um the PD starts getting their updates. Cruz, how you doing?
Good. I had two questions. The first one is.
You're really quiet. Hold on. I gotta turn you up a little bit. All right, what's your questions?
The first one is how many time strikes do we get before demotion or termination? And then the other one was during fuck the car things.
Boost.
Thank you. I don't know why I can't remember what the hell it was called.
It's all right.
But whenever they're stopping for gas, if there are interference vehicles blocking us from the gas station getting to the car, are we allowed to like ram them, or what are we supposed to do for that?
Well, while near a gas station, I would highly recommend not ramming vehicles with the chance of ramming a vehicle into a gas pump and then causing an explosion, and then we get sued for causing third-degree burns on multiple suspects. But it would be under your best situation under your best, that's good, LP. Yeah, my ass. You know, it would be at the discretion of the officer of the primary officer handle how to handle that situation. You know, so if you can get out, um, you know, go around, tase the person, whatever. But we need to get a lock on that. I mean, by all means, if they're blocking the cops out, I mean, to be fair, I don't think they would be able to fully block us out. Because in those kind of situations, you're only allowed to have so many people, right? So, you know, just go around them. And it takes a while to gas up. So if they, by all means, if they get so much gas, in a small time, you know, and then they just start driving off before we can get to them, then by all means, let them do that. But we're not just gonna sit there while they're gassing up for like 30 seconds while we're standing there or we're sitting in our cars. Like that can't happen anymore. Inaccurate, the other pumps didn't explode. Alright, calm down, Ezra. Dash cam of Cadet Dixon's last patrol. Oh my god. Oh my god. Exactly. I mean, by all means, if the interference vehicles get out of their cars and, you know, they got guns pointed at us, then essentially we have no choice. You know, we're not going to just walk up to them while they got, you know, ARs and whatnot pointed at us. So if they set up something like that, then we have to let them gas up. But, you know, that I don't think there's very many crews in the city, maybe one, that has that level of organization to the point where that would be a thing. And so, yeah, like I said, it'd be at the discretion of or they could use their brains and grab a hostage for it. I mean, that too. And what was the first part of your question?
Oh,
Time strikes?
Yeah, how many time strikes do we get before
So
termination?
every week you do not. That's an officer does not meet a quota. You will receive a time strike. Once you receive your third time strike, you will have 1 week to fill in your quota. If you do not, after your third time strike, make that quota for the following week, you will be terminated. So that is 4 weeks of not meeting quota, not being on LOA, and, you know, not talking prior to either myself or one of the other, either the assistant chief or the deputy chief. So let's say 3 weeks in a row back to back, you get 3 time strikes. That fourth week, if you now do not follow up on that week with your quota, and by all means, 5 hours is not a long time. Like, if people really can't put in 5 hours into this department, that is extreme inactivity. And like I said, if you go on LOA, if you got some shit to do in your head, you know, if something happens, communicate that to us or fill out an LOA form and go on LOA. We all need a break sometimes. I get that. Even myself, I needed a break earlier. So, you know, I took a little break. I think last week I only clocked like 6 hours. Mind you, I needed a break and I still got my quota. So it's not something difficult. No breaks, Bishop says. Taking me on holiday, Chief? Oh, yeah, right away. How do you drive Elon Musk? Okay, calm down, guys. Calm the fuck down. Hashtag slow the fuck down. But yeah, Cruz, does that answer your questions?
Yep, I'm good.
Alrighty. Next we have Ezra. Ezra, come up and chat. Cruz, step down real
How
quick.
you doing?
Oh my God. Morgan Freeman in the house.
That's your cue.
Crew.
There you go.
There you go.
Fantastic.
What's
How you
going on,
doing,
Ezra?
Lightning?
I gotta fucking turn you down. That voice is vibrating my eardrums.
Oh man,
What's going on, man?
you eating well yet?
What's that?
Are you eating well?
Am I
Good
eating
enough
well?
sleep? Yeah.
I hope so.
Fantastic. So here's my issue, right?
Go
I've
ahead.
been to 17 different calls for a stolen fucking sign, and I've been round the corner most of the time. And every time I turn up, it's too late. Every single time. And when I
Right.
get there, every motherfucker that's there has already got a sign in their inventory. So I can't deduce which person, which individual I can take because everyone in the city has signs in their inventory. And I can't get there in time, even if I'm right around the corner, to catch them doing it. So it feels like the sign being on our dispatch is just pointless.
Well, let me break it down. So, if you're getting calls for stolen signs, either way, anybody that has a sign on them, that is stolen property. You can't just go out and buy street signs like that. So, we're taking all that as stolen property. So, if you pull up and you got 10 people sitting there waving street signs around, what's going on, Flores? If you got 10 people waving street signs around, by all means, you tell them, it's like, listen, you turn those street signs in, or we'll have to put out, you know, something out for your arrest. And if you got that many people in a group, you obviously need backup. So you would need all officers on duty on hand.
Yeah,
And
it was like it was 10 people at White Widow, and I think Ozzy was on, but I don't know what he was doing. I think he went off pretty soon after. I was there, I can't take on 10 people by myself.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you got, overwhelming
Choose your battles.
numbers, exactly, you choose those battles. Obviously you're not going to take on 10 people by yourself. So if there's not enough backup in the city, gather the information you can, hang
I mean,
around,
I could, but be unfair to them if I, did them like that.
did them like what?
To call 10 of them on.
Oh, I mean, you could try,
I
but
don't
that's
want to
not going to
embarrass
work.
them.
That's okay, son. All right, calm down. Were you going to narrate their life story while you're beating their ass? Calm down.
I mean, I can multitask.
No, what you can do is, you gather intel, you can set up request a warrant for, people's arrest for stolen property, and we can take them down one by one. In regards to groups of people like that, that's a no-brainer. Like, unless we have the amount of people amount of officers in city as we have in this meeting, we're not taking out big groups of people like that. So
So,
it's better you just gather information, gather the intel, and work from there.
so I pull up the situation, and masked individuals have signs. I have to deduce from their license plates if they go near their cars who they are, and then write on their profile or
Something
make a
like that.
report with their
Exactly.
name on it. Which one or
Exactly.
both?
You can't well, either or. You can make the report, put them in the report. Don't put charges on their profile in the report. Just add them to the report, and then put the charges in the summary. Because once you add a charge to a profile in a report, it will add to their record. But we can't add charges to somebody's record until they've been caught.
Okay.
So yeah, so add it all in the summary. Add who you can. Do not ID based on voice. Like you said, ID based on license plates. Situations like that.
You could use it for like suspicion, like don't I recognize you, but it's not like solid enough evidence to do anything with it.
Or even walk up and be like, "Hey, so and so,"
Yeah.
and then if they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" Yeah, that's me. Blah blah blah. then it's like, okay, and just have a casual conversation with them. But on the side, you're sitting there making notes and you gathering evidence. But don't make it obvious that you're gathering evidence. Some of these
Of
officers that,
course.
you know,
Play dumb.
guaranteed, yeah, you got to play dumb. You got to play like, oh yeah, hey, how's it going, so and so? How's it going, Zach? How's it going, fucking Luck? How you guys doing? So, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I believe so.
Any other concerns, questions, things that's going on in the city?
I mean, I've heard like one of the individuals I went after had a micro Uzi on his back, and he was commenting how a lot of officers allow other individuals to carry SMGs in their back and don't do anything about it. Are we being lax with that, or should every
No.
person be pounced upon?
Anybody who has an illegal firearm brandished on their back should be detained.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
Yeah. And if
just
there's any
making sure.
officers that's not doing that, like the only reason why you shouldn't be doing that is if they're in a large group of people and you're not going to sit there and walk in and arrest somebody when they got
Yeah.
10 buddies around. Unless it's an event, exactly. If they're doing it and it's at an event, then if it's a city issued event, if it is just a private event, if you're going to pull up to that event, pull up off duty. So whatever they do at that time, you cannot arrest them for because you are off duty. If you're going to pull up on duty, make sure if you're going to arrest people, by all means, like I said, it would be a personally managed event and there's going to be a lot of people there. So unless you have the backup to back yourself up, don't be doing anything hasty. But when the event is over, exactly. Catch them slacking on the lows. Community events, I feel there is no arresting of anyone unless they start shooting. I mean, people shouldn't be start shooting at an event anyway, unless the event requires shooting. Right? So like, if people start shooting at an event, that's a ban. That's not an arrest. They're getting banned. Yeah. Yeah.
Try to like prioritize role playing out their situations. So if someone is shooting at the vent and you know they are breaking a rule, don't stop role playing because it not only makes yourself look bad, but like maybe then now it could develop into something bigger.
Exactly. That more or less falls along lines of if you see someone else breaking a rule, don't now go OOC with it and break a rule just because they're breaking rules. Stay in character, stay with who you are, get some clips of it, make a ticket, and then we can handle it that way through staff.
Yeah.
But under no circumstances you follow up a rule break with a rule break. That's what I mean. So no need for arresting. Exactly, yeah. All right, Ezra, I appreciate your comments. Anything else from anybody? Raise your hand, ask in the chat. If I missed your question in the chat, please place it again because there's a lot of people putting memes and talking shit. So let's see.
Brian,
Do we
reached
need
out. Yeah,
yeah,
you heard that?
yeah. Do we need to do a report for every scene we go to, or only if we have some sort of evidence to build a case on arresting someone? That's actually a good question because I've seen a few times where there should have been reports where there's not, and I've seen a few times where there's no need for a report where there is. And if you want to fill out a report every single time, by all means, that's good practice in writing reports, and it leads a good example to your fellow officers. But if like in Ezra's case, well, no, that's actually a bad case. If you pull up to shots fired at an intersection and there's nobody there, I mean, you don't have to write a report on that. If you find a bullet casing, by all means, you can make a note You can make a little report about, oh, I found this bullet case in here, but 9 times out of 10, we're not finding that weapon. And if we do, what are we going to charge them for? Reckless misuse of a firearm? Like,
Yeah, right. You could always just what I'd really like to do is that we start bringing people in for questioning. Some of them are really weird and they don't want to roleplay with cops because they're like I don't know, they have a bad mentality on it, which is fine, just whatever, let it go. But there's people who would be more than happy to do it. You can reach out to people and be like, hey, can you come to the station for some questions? Read them their rights, you know, they're not being arrested. Like, oh, we found this casing this day and some of your blood. Were you there? What happened? You know, just questions to help build a report.
that also brings me to another topic about Miranda rights. So, there is an in-city lawyer that I don't believe he actually passed the bar with the DOJ, but um, he's an in-city lawyer that says that we are we cannot arrest somebody unless we read them the Miranda rights. That is a false statement. We can 100% arrest somebody that is caught in an action if we witness them doing illegal actions like robbing a bank, selling drugs, blah, 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 shooting a weapon. And we can arrest them and we don't have to read them their Miranda rights. If they then, after arrest, they can literally say whatever they want. They can say, well, I killed 10 officers yesterday and you guys didn't catch me. You know, I murdered a whole group of people. And you cannot convict them with that unless the Miranda rights are read. Until we read a suspect their Miranda rights, they cannot self-incriminate with things that we are unaware of. So get in the habit and get in the practice of reading suspects their Miranda rights upon arrest. That way, if they do say anything that would incriminate them further, we can now add that to the charges. But if they say something and they do not have their rights read, they cannot be charged for anything like that. Cruz, you have something to speak on Miranda rights?
No, this was just off topic. Silas was saying stuff. Um, is there a way we can respond to police calls?
What? Oh yeah,
Right
there is.
now?
Yeah, when you get 911 calls,
Yeah.
press, you know, open your MDT, right click it, and then you should see respond to call at the bottom.
Yeah. And then you can type out a response.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you open up your MDT, like Flores said, and you see like, oh, help, I need to talk to an officer, you know, I just lost my dog. You can right click that report and say, go fuck your dog. He probably got ran over by a car. Whatever you want to say to them, you can go you go ahead. That was pretty cruel still. But you can go ahead and fill out that report or respond to that call.
I did. I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I needed.
All right. Let's see. If I can't get bullet casings, license plate, fingerprints, or identification of a suspect, I most likely won't write a report. Exactly. When I was Lewis, I got brought in for questioning and was some of the best RP I had in the city. See what I'm saying? Like it takes a good officer to have good fun, question a good suspect or question a good citizen. And it takes practice. By all means, you're not going to have fun every single time, but you know, have fun with the situation. Ask stupid questions. You know, ask questions that don't pertain to anything. You know, do you have corn in your shit? Sir, by all means, this has everything to do with my report. Like, you know, stupid shit. And it'll come up with some of the best scenes you can have. The imagination of a person in role play is endless. Wow, is that Sheriff Davenport? That it is. Davenport, say hi to everybody. This is his presence.
What's going on?
Fucking punk.
His one presence for the month, and so make it count. You won't see him for another month.
Fucking idiot, bro.
Fuck the dog. Oh my god. But yeah, Miranda rights. Try to get in the practice of it. If you don't know them, there you can find them all over the place. It's very simple. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided to you by the state. And then you ask, do you understand the rights that have been read to you? It's only a few lines. Blaze through them. You don't even have to make sense half the time. You have the right to suck my dick. I seen that. 22 Jump Street, one of the best movies. Hashtag justice for Davenport. Exactly.
What the
I've
fuck?
seen I've seen incident reports that are like 2 sentences long, and I'm confused on what goes where. I mean, if people out of context, Zeus, I know. But honestly, whoever those writing 2 sentence long reports, like, y'all need to step your shit up, because you should be putting as much detail into a report so that if someone that has zero idea of what is happening on that situation that report is in, they can get a full mental picture of what it pertained in that situation for that report. And if I have to take y'all to report school, then by all means, I'll take y'all to report school, and y'all can have a nice boring ass lecture on how to write a fucking report.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. My reports are A plus, sir. I appreciate
really
that.
good,
Yeah,
man.
Cruz is pretty good at writing reports as well. So if y'all need, she might not be able to drive, but she can write a fucking damn well ass report. Everyone sending examples will only benefit the force going forward. Exactly. Like, by all means, I'm not gonna, like I said, we are officers in a video game. I'm not gonna have everybody sit there and act like they're actual police officers and they're getting paid to do this. You're not actually getting paid. You're making fake money to do a fake job. But the better you do your job, and if you can be proud of your own work and, set a good example for your other officers, by all means, that will only benefit everybody. But if you're going to be lazy and not put in any kind of effort into this job, by all means, you're more than happy, you're more than welcome to step down as a member of the department and go be a regular citizen. Because at the end of the day, if we're going to be here, we're going to be here. We're going to do our job, do it to the best of our ability, have fun with it. And that's all I ask. We definitely need more trainings, demonstrate best examples, and set better habits. That is very true. Come join the sheriff's office. Any other questions, concerns of situations that are going on in the city, situations about protocols, any protocols or any announcements that you do not understand? Please ask now. Yikes, I really need to get a life. Oh my god. I'll take that as a no. Anybody put your hand up, want to come speak on stage? Says the man pulls 20 hours, 20-hour days. Oh my god. All right, y'all can keep talking shit in there. This next thing is going to be very important. So everybody please listen up. This will be about our future sting operation on the Little Soul ammunition. What the hell was that? There have been quite a few reports on, make notes. There have been quite a few reports on them selling weapons to people without gun licenses, and then those people then afterwards coming to us requesting a gun license after already obtaining a weapon, as well as them selling weapons under the table that are illegal. I have had multiple people tell me that they have, we'll arrest them with a heavy pistol on them. I'll ask them where they got it, and they say, listen, I got it at the ammunition. Well, they shouldn't be getting those at an ammunition because those are illegal weapons. So I'm going to need a couple of officers to volunteer for some more or less undercover work. And it's going to be one of two things. We're either going to have the basic thing would be to have an officer go in there when it's busy, when there's workers there. Mask your voice, mask your identity, go in undercover and request them to sell you a weapon. Make it known that you do not have a gun license. And if they are willing to sell you a weapon, also then see if you can have them offer you an illegal firearm, see if they got anything packing more heat, a little more spicy, whatever it be. We need to get that on. The second option would be a little more long term, and this would be where the volunteer officer that's volunteering would have to have the dedication to pursue this, and it would be going undercover, getting with, disassociating from the officers for about a week or two, mingle with the friend groups of those individuals that are running the ammunition, build their trust, and then see if you can get to that illegal weapon menu that way and have them sell it to you in the store. And once we have concrete evidence of that shop selling us illegal firearms, then we can definitely have grounds to shut that shop down. Because we need to keep these weapons off the streets of people without weapon licenses. There's been a lot of weapons that haven't been registered by the gun store that have been selling them, like the assault shotguns. There should be no reason why we have an assault shotgun not registered, because I've instructed the owners of the ammunition to file those in our gun registry channel, which they have access to. So we need to get on this and shut this shit down. Any questions or concerns about the sting operation? Anybody who would like to volunteer to go undercover? But by all means, like I said, if you do go undercover, you cannot be known that it is you, and you cannot associate with police officers, and you cannot, you have to take this with utmost priority and utmost seriousness. And honestly, if nobody fucking volunteers, then I'm probably going to have to do it myself. Because y'all can't be trusted. No. Any questions, concerns, any volunteers? I'll do it. All right, James, we got our first volunteer. So I'll run you through. Oh, now I'm getting DMs. All right. So I'll talk to a couple people privately, and we'll set up some shit in the near future to get this sting operation going. Let me get back to the meeting here. Got a couple people DMing me. Hashtag meta. Hashtag meta. That's metagaming. I mean, we're all officers. If y'all want to be slapping out meta information, and warning people about it on your crim character, then by all means, as a director, I will ban your fucking ass.
Yeah, it's kind of suck. That's one thing that I really hate that happened in the past is people who leak like police documents or scenes that they've been planning for a while now. It just completely ruins it for everything. Because as a cop, we don't really get that super long term role play. It's mainly just cops or robbers because a lot of people are just shitters who only think of that. So when it does happen, it's a really important thing, and it just sucks to just get that thrown away. Hey James, requested to speak.
Hello,
James,
mate.
come on up.
Bring him up.
What's happening?
You know the
Yo,
sting
dude.
operation, right?
Yes.
What about an informant?
I mean, we could get an informant as well, but information verbally portrayed only goes
know-
so far.
I mean, in RP terms, AJ has a lot of connections outside of the force with his past, etc. So I think RP wise, informant wise, it could work a bit like to get a bit more information if that makes sense.
Oh, 100%. Like if you want to use your connections to get more information, but we need to physically get the concrete evidence and see either witness a transaction of an illegal firearm or with a person that does not have a weapons license, and they have been warned multiple times. So it's not like we're just barging in the door and saying, "Hey, we're shutting you down. This is your first instance." No, I've told them and I've warned them multiple times to not sell legal weapons and to make sure that the people they're selling to have a weapons license.
Yeah, because
And I,
like in a previous city, shut her up. In a previous city, we did this in PD, and it worked quite well. We'll be like, obviously, we'll play it out. Like we gave the informant like witness protection, confidentiality, and we like give him he or she a big brief, and we like hooked them up with a hidden body cam, etc. And in that city, they had like mics, so we hooked them up with like a hidden mic, and they like gelled with the people for like a week, and then reported back to us, that type of way.
I mean, yeah, we could do it like that.
It's
Like I
just
said,
an idea. It's just
for
an idea.
for our for our you know, our fun in the matter, we
Hmm.
can try, like I said, the infiltration, the sting operation first. And if that doesn't work, then we can, pay for a confidential informant to do that for us
Yeah.
afterwards. Someone that's already trusted. But with the tight knit community that we have, it's going to be tough to actually find someone like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That'll snitch on the friends. So that's what
It'll
I'm
be
saying.
it'll be
Go
tough
ahead.
to run that in general because there's not really a lot of risk the criminals have. So when you get caught for like robbery, it's like what 15, maybe 20 months, maybe less than that. In fact, they're not
Something like
scared
that.
of like waiting 20 minutes in jail, so they're not gonna be like begging for their life to not be sent. They're just okay, whatever, send me. I'll go make food, come back, be done, already be out. So
But
getting
this is now talking about getting a store shut down.
yeah,
And this is the community's supply of illegal weapons. By all means, they can sell still illegal weapons without the store, but now they don't have a front for it. And they won't have access to those fucking OP assault shotguns and the Prism ARs that I'm trying to desperately get off the streets because they should not be legally sold. But yeah, definitely if our sting operation doesn't work, which if it's executed properly, it should work. Um, then we can try that approach. You know, wait a little bit, let the water, settle, and then try that approach if that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Name one crim that can be trusted. Don't worry, I'll wait. But yeah, that's a good idea. That would be a day to celebrate when PD gets assault shotguns off the streets. Yeah, tell me about it. Well, thank you for that, James, Officer James. Ozzy, calm the fuck down with your ADHD ass.
what?
What did Ozzy do? The fuck?
I didn't do anything, bro.
Oh, is he in city going crazy? Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, yeah. I'm not even looking at the in city. Man's jumping on desk and shit. Don't mind him. Um, so yeah. Anybody else got anything to add to that the sting operation? By all means, like I said, if you got any ideas, my DMs are always open. We can discuss about that. I have a couple of officers that DM me already interested in getting this going. So we will talk about that another day and we will discuss on how to pursue that further. But this is definitely top priority, big assignment that we will be putting in place. And for all the people that all the other officers that won't be going undercover, we're gonna need y'all back up for the raid once we do catch them. And once the the sale does happen or we have once we get the evidence of something going crazy, then we can now go and raid the store, storm the shop, arrest all the individuals, and have that shit shut down. That's definitely something we need to do. Um, so one more time, any questions, concerns? I was comfy. Does assault shotgun equal SMG and four? No, assault shotgun is a class 3. That because of its fire rate and stopping power, that is a class 3. Unless someone has something otherwise to say, in my opinion, that is the class 3. A pump shotgun would be a class 2. An assault shotgun would be a class 3. So what would an officer use against it? Your highest class. So as an officer, I believe you have access to your SMG. So you would use your SMG. And if you got one person using an assault shotgun and the rest of them using pistols, oh well, they're all getting gunned down by an SMG because one person wanted to use an assault shotgun. So rest in peace. You match the highest force being used at the scene. To be fair, yeah, that assault shotgun is nutty. Yeah, that is a little bit of an understatement. That was my question. All right, no problem. But yeah, this sting operation 100% needs to take top priority. It is had to get one and store it away. As an officer, I don't believe you're legally obliged to carry an assault shotgun unless you are off duty. That is not a PD issued weapon.
Yeah, no shit.
You crazy son of a bitch. Yeah, no shit. Fine, I'll hand my RPG back. Yeah, tell that to Flores. Where'd you get it from? I bet you got it from Flores. He's also handing out railguns too, but keep that on the low.
God.
I got a weapons license. I just need to register it still. Flores walks around with a sniper on his back like a chain. I know, right?
You guys get a weapon license?
Yeah, and any officer that's doesn't currently have a weapons license, come see me after the meeting and I'll give y'all a weapons license. I'll just have y'all go get your fingerprint and put your phone number and your fingerprint um in your profile on the MDT, as well as take yourself a nice little pretty picture and put that in your MDT profile as well. Flores helped me after I got headshotted at Vangelico. I
That's-
literally just watched that movie. I just watched that movie the other day. That was a great movie. What's he saying here? All right.
I
Yes.
understand. Fuck,
Yes. Yes. That I like. Flores, can you calm the fuck down?
bro.
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
So last on the docket, it is promotions. So I believe there will be 3 officers getting promoted. Starting from lowest to highest. We have Cadet Ezra Lawrence getting promoted from cadet to officer. Congratulations, Ezra. We have who's the other one? Oh yeah, we have a James Crawford getting promoted from officer to senior officer. Congratulations, Officer Crawford. And he's not here. He messaged me before, but we have a Officer Rogers getting promoted from officer to senior officer as well. What did I miss? You missed the the promotions.
Oh well.
It crashed when you said it. We got Ezra, Crawford, and Officer Rogers getting promoted. Y'all have put in tremendous amount of work. Some of y'all I still need to see a little bit more effort put in or some knowledge granted in order to retain promotion. Some of y'all just haven't been around, put in enough time, so I can't grant promotion. But definitely in the near future, I can see within the next couple weeks there will be some more promotions for some of y'all. If you keep up the good work, as I always say in the promotions, do not get discouraged if you do not get promoted this time around. You will be getting a promotion in the future. Just keep up the good work and we will recognize your work. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for coming out to this meeting. If there's any questions, concerns, or anything, please let me know. My DM's are always open. This is your chief, Zeus Lightning. Thank you so much for coming out to the meeting. Y'all have a great night. And yeah, make me proud. Keep the city safe, boys and girls.
I updated everybody in the roster and in game.
All
Boy,
right, thank you.
see, mate, you fucking cunt.
Appreciate that.
Hey man, you better watch your fucking mouth.
We're missing 2. We're missing 2. Come on, AJ. Come on, Crawford. I want to take this picture. Come on, Crawford. Come on, AJ.
She's taking a picture.
Ain't that pretty. At ease, officers. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. I'm gonna chill out in the. Where are we gonna chill out? In the break room 1. Anybody wants to come chill out, shoot the shit a little bit, or tackle everybody on the way out? Go ahead. But yeah, the meeting is concluded. Thank you for your time.